Hi, good morning everyone. We are on the 22nd of September. It's a Sunday morning around 11:30. I have the Nifty daily chart in front of me and there you go. A big 5% bounce back. We can easily call it the FM candle, the finance minister candle, or uh, like the rounds and the jokes are going in social media, the Nirmala Sitharaman candle. But nevertheless, we don't get to see this. It's a rare event triggered by a news, and the market bounces back with a lot of steam. Just a day before, on Thursday night's close, when I shared my video on how the index is playing out, we are again back to within our blue channel. You can see that video. I've left the link of my previous video in the description box. Not only has it slipped inside our channel, but now we are well above the resistances of 11,200. Now in this video, I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to share my views. What next? What can a technical trader expect going forward, and what's my personal view on this? Well, I have two aspects to this event. One is purely technical, and the other one is purely rational. Let's come to the technical part first. Well, price discounts everything except the acts of God. Now, that's one of the most important philosophies of the subject. And we generally suggest, and which suggests the fact that the market or the price knows everything. And by knowing it, it already discounts it. And my experience so far has been that most of the time, the index or the stock will discount it. Any big, great positive news will ideally should not come at the bottom of the market. It generally comes once the stock or the index picks up on the upside, and vice versa. The great news, negative news will not come at the top. Having said that, is this an exceptional case, or this is one of those cases again, the general cases? So we have a big boost, positive news, when the market was at very strong supports and heading further down. Overall sentiment is slightly on the downside, but thanks to this news, it has led to a big bounce back, whether it will sustain or not. Technically, if I follow what I have observed so far, it's not going to straight away go up to all-time highs and all that. I don't think so that's happening. Yes, the shorts got squeezed, and that's why we did not see any intraday dip on Friday's trade. But I will not be very surprised if the index slips below the 11K mark, buys some more time, tries to absorb what the news can have effects going forward, etc. etc. Uh, Technically, a positive news coming at the bottom of the market leading to a bounce back generally will not lead to a trend reversal right away, maybe eventually. So, important thing would be to see that our earlier resistance zone, which was close to these highs of 11,000, zones. So let's use 11K and 11,200 zone. This is that zone, erstwhile highs. If the index slips below this, and I won't be too surprised if that happens, I'm not bearish. I like the fact that the index has bounced back from supports. I am fairly bullish for when I look at the monthly charts of the Nifty or the weekly charts. But the fact that it was a boost, it was a forced event which took at the supports, leaves me with a little pinch of salt to think about it. Not bearish, but not highly bullish either. We'll see how the market reacts going forward the next couple of weeks, if not more than that. As long as on the downside 10,700, 800 zone holds, we are good. It has proven itself to be a good support zone. On the upside, if it extends further up, 11,650, 700 is what I'm looking at. Now let's come to the other aspect, which is the rational aspect. So what's happening? Earlier you're a company, you're making 100 rupees, you're paying tax 30 rupees, and now you will be paying a tax of 25 rupees. That's a very good news. That leaves you with that extra 5. It all depends what you do with this extra 5. If you pass it back to the consumer, then keeping your earnings constant, prices should be on the downside. That should infuse more demand. The economical cycle will revive, and it's overall very good for the economy. However, if the companies don't do that, then of course their profitability increases, the earnings increases, the stock price increase, etc., etc. Again, very good for the overall economy. If they utilize this extra 5 rupees to come up with newer products, develop newer products for the overall consumer, again, it's very good for the overall economy. So net, when you see it from a rational point of view, it's actually a good thing. Now, will the government get lesser tax or not? Well, I'm not an expert in all this, but when I think about it, I don't think so that the government will leave such a big chunk as it is. Many of these big companies, they work on big loans from the banks, and the banks definitely look at how much tax you have paid. For your eligibility to get that loan, the main thing is how much tax do you pay. So these companies will never pay lesser tax, or they would not want to pay less tax because their eligibility for a loan comes down. Again, I'm not an expert in this, I'm just using my common sense. Uh, in that regards, I don't think so. These companies will be paying a total of lesser tax. They will continue to, pay the same tax so that their eligibility is constant. But overall, it's a very good, big boost, push from our FN. And if all goes well, what is important is rather than making the 30 to 25, if the economy actually spins better and creates more products, generates more revenue, pushes harder, I think that is that will be more important. If you think in a slightly micro perspective, I'm a housemaker and I was making 100 rupees, I was paying 30, now I'll pay 25, I have that extra 5. So do I spend that extra 5? Maybe yes, but the more important for the long term growth is I can't think that I will constantly earn 100. I should think of earning 105, 110, 115 and 20. So growth is extremely important. Infused by these things are good, but the main thing is the overall growth. So let's see what happens going forward. Technically, I think 11,000, 11,200 should hold on the downside. We can get some better moves on the upside after that. If it slips down, I'll not be surprised. But I feel that the way 10,800 has held so well, we might get better moves coming up in the market. Till then, thank you for suggesting and giving feedback on my videos. Do share your thoughts on the technical and the rational aspect of this FM candle move that I shared with you. Feel free to share your thoughts with me. Thank you guys. Trade well, trade wise.